Okay, let's get into this. Today we're doing a deep dive into the bombing of Air India Flight 182, the Kanishka. Until 9/11 happened, this was actually the deadliest act of aviation terrorism anywhere, and it's still the largest mass murder in Canadian history.
It really is. And what's so chilling is the silence. June 23rd, 1985, 7:14 a.m. GMT. The plane just vanishes from radar over the Atlantic. 329 people on board, no warning, no distress call, just gone.
And the people responsible, this wasn't some foreign state actor, right? This was planned and carried out by Canadian citizens.
That's right. It was a coordinated plot, a twin bombing plot, conceived by Canadian citizens linked to Babbar Khalsa, a Sikh separatist group based in Canada.
The motive seems clear, stemming from retaliation.
Yes, directly tied to Operation Blue Star in June 1984. That was when the Indian Army entered the Golden Temple complex. For Sikh extremists involved in this plot, that was seen as, well, an unforgivable desecration, and this was their act of vengeance.
And there was that other bomb, the one in Tokyo.
Exactly. Just 55 minutes before the Kanishka disappeared, a bomb exploded at Tokyo's Narita airport, killed 2 baggage handlers there. It came from the same plotters, same origin, in Vancouver.
Why did that one go off on the ground?
It was a timing error, actually. They'd set the timers apparently accounting for daylight saving time, but Japan doesn't observe daylight saving time, so it detonated about an hour too early while still in the terminal. A tragic miscalculation, but it also left crucial evidence.
And this whole thing originated in Canada, British Columbia specifically.
Yeah, planned right there. The key figures were Telinder Singh Parmar, often seen as the mastermind, and Inderjit Singh Reyat. He was a mechanic, the one who physically built the bombs. He used dynamite, batteries, and crucially these Sanyo radio tuners for the timing devices. Fragments of those were found at Narita.
How did they even get the bombs onto the planes?
That points to a major security failure at Vancouver Airport. 2 individuals using the names M. Singh and L. Singh checked bags onto connecting flights. One bag was ticketed through to Air India 182, the other to a flight connecting to Narita. But here's the thing. Neither M. Singh nor L. Singh actually boarded.
They weren't supposed to let bags on without the passenger, even then, right?
Yeah.
Especially waitlisted ones.
Correct. Airline regulations forbade it for passengers holding only waitlist confirmations for the connecting flights. But somehow, the check-in staff were persuaded, or perhaps just failed, to enforce the rule. So those 2 lethal bags traveled unaccompanied.
It feels like this could have been stopped on the security side, but what about intelligence? Were there warnings?
Oh, absolutely. This is maybe the most frustrating part. Canadian authorities, both the RCMP and the brand new intelligence agency CSIS, had specific warnings. CSIS agents were actively surveilling key suspects. They even picked up chatter and reportedly heard an explosion during a suspected test detonation in the woods near Duncan, BC, just weeks before the bombing.
They heard a test explosion and didn't connect it.
It seems unbelievable, but yes, the dots weren't connected, or the significance was just dismissed. Systemic failure. The later inquiry, the Major Commission, called it a cascading series of errors.
And the investigation afterwards, that wasn't smooth either.
Far from it. The biggest problem was the intense rivalry, basically turf wars, between the RCMP, the police force, and CSIS, the intelligence service. It got so bad that CSIS made the decision to destroy or erase hundreds of hours of wiretap recordings of the main suspects in the months leading up to the bombing.
They erased potential evidence. Why would they do that?
The rationale given involves protecting sources or methods, but the undeniable result was, well, it gutted the potential criminal case. You lose that core evidence, the recordings of the plotters themselves.
Which explains why the court cases mostly failed.
Precisely. After this huge 15-year investigation, the 2 main accused brought to trial, Ripudaman Singh Malik and Ajay Singh Bagri, were acquitted in 2005. The judge cited a lack of credible evidence, largely because those crucial tapes were gone, and some key witnesses were seen as unreliable or possibly intimidated.
So only Reyat, the bomb maker, faced real consequences.
He was the only one convicted in relation to the bombing itself. Initially manslaughter for the Narita bomb, then later for his role in the Air India bomb, and then he got a separate, quite long sentence for perjury because he lied repeatedly during the Malik and Bagri trial.
For years, this whole thing was kind of brushed off, wasn't it? Like it was India's problem that just happened to occur over the Atlantic via Canada.
That was the narrative for a long time, yeah. It was seen as imported terrorism, not a Canadian failure. It really took the tireless, relentless work of the victims' families. Remember, 268 of the 329 victims were Canadian citizens, including 82 children, to change that perception.
They pushed for answers, for accountability.
They absolutely did. Their advocacy eventually led to the Major Commission inquiry in 2010, and finally, a formal apology from the Prime Minister on the 25th anniversary, acknowledging it as a Canadian tragedy rooted in failures of Canadian institutions.
So the takeaway is, well, it's about vigilance, isn't it? About intelligence agencies actually talking to each other, and about facing homegrown extremism.
Definitely. Security protocols changed globally after this, but the core lessons about seamless intelligence sharing and not dismissing threats just because they have international ties, those remain critical.
It's a stark reminder.
It is. And maybe a final thought for you to consider. Think about the sheer human cost. Those 329 lives lost, 197 bodies never even recovered from the ocean, and how the initial response from their own government often felt cold, bureaucratic, almost dismissive. Contrast that with the people of Cork in Ireland near the crash site. They showed such immense, spontaneous compassion, opening their homes, providing support to the grieving families arriving from Canada and India when official channels were, frankly, failing them. It makes you wonder, how can a system meant to protect its citizens sometimes become so entangled in its own failures that it causes even more harm?